Hello everyone, my name is Nora, aka Ming in Mandarin Chinese. Many years ago, there was a rumor spreading wildly on the Chinese internet. 土家 people have a special right. The law allows them to kill up to 3 people and they will not be punished. Of course, it's completely fake, but back then people really believed it. For your information, in China, there are 56 ethnic groups. About 90% of Chinese people are Han, and the other 55 ethnic minority groups together make up less than 10%. The Tujia people are part of that 10%, and I am Tujia. On my very first day at university, after I introduced myself, a classmate raised her hand, very excited. She asked me, "You are a Tujia? So, have you killed anyone?"
Huh?
I said, "Not yet." She looked a little bit disappointed, so I quickly added, "But if you're nice to me, and one day someone gives you trouble, theoretically, I still have 3 chances to help you." And she was very nice to me indeed. She invited me to meals many times because she knew my number 1 hobby was eating. I was a chubby kid growing up, and when I got to university, I suddenly had the ultimate freedom to eat whatever I want. And with this powerful weapon, my so-called 3 chances to kill, which I used to blackmail people for snacks, I ate even more. My Engel's coefficient, the percentage of income you spend on food, was extremely high. And I got rounder and rounder. I often complained I'm getting fat, but there is a rule. Only I can say that. If someone else told me, "Hey, you're gaining weight," I would just say, "Be careful with your words. I still have 3 chances to kill." I told myself, I'm not fat. I'm just not slim. I am beautiful anyways. But one day, my body disagreed. I stopped having my period. The doctor checked me and said, "No big issue, you just gained weight too fast. It's affecting your hormones. So go lose some weight." I directly walked into a gym and bought the most expensive membership, with classes. The first class was spinning. Have you tried spinning in China? It's like clubbing, but instead of dancing on the floor, you bounce on a bike. After 3 months, I lost 15 kilograms. Then the pandemic came, the gym closed, and my gym membership money never came back. Looking back, maybe it was a good thing that I did not continue. If I had kept going, I probably would have ended up back at that doctor's office very soon, because my knee would for sure collapse before my waistline. Years later, I went clubbing for the very first time in my life, and I was surprised to find out that I knew most of the music. Turns out my gym coach had secretly prepared me for the dance floor. Anyways, without killing anyone but my own appetite, I graduated. My grades in law school were average. To work in law, I must pass the bar exam, the toughest exam in China. Most people prepare for a year. I only had 3 months. So I treated it as a practice, planning to be more serious next year. For the exam registration, I had to upload a formal photo with white background, taken within last 3 months. I thought to myself, well, I probably won't pass anyways, so why bother to spend money on a professional photo? I decided to take a casual one at home. At my home, the only white wall we had was above my parents' bed. I convinced my dad to let me squat on their bed, took the photo wearing pajamas. Then of course I photoshopped that pajama into a shirt. Fortunately, or unfortunately, I passed. The day I got my certificate, I immediately started to search online how I could replace that photo. I spent a whole week trying to come to the term with the fact that that freaking pajama photo would just be there forever. My ex-boyfriend asked me, now that you have your certificate, what's your next big plan? I said, I don't know. He said, oh, you should know. I paused for a moment, and then I said, maybe travel around the world? I've never even stepped outside China. He was not very happy with the answer. Don't expect too much about the outside world, he said. I stayed in Paris for years, and I can tell you, you'd be disappointed if you went. The so-called Eiffel Tower is no better than a power tower. Traveling is just a scam. It's a way for consumerism to brainwash people. We should work hard, get married, and have kids early. And I thought, well, if that's brainwashing, I happen to have a brain. Please, take it and wash it. My brain needs a shower. 1 year later, we broke up and I was sent to Dhaka, Bangladesh because of work. That was my first time abroad. I was confident that my English was no problem, but I soon found out that there was a problem. People didn't speak English there. This could be a bit tricky because even the simplest daily tasks often turned into unexpected adventures. Take transportation, for example. Many buses there had no doors. The drivers didn't stop. You had to run, jump on, and someone would pull you in. I find it too challenging for a lady like me, so I prefer tuk-tuks. To be safe, I asked my hotel to write the address in Bengali on a piece of paper, so I could show it to a tuk-tuk driver. The tuk-tuk driver looked at it, scratched his head, and said something that I didn't understand at all. Then it hit me. He couldn't read. We struggled back and forth, and very soon a curious crowd gathered, surrounding us in the middle. 3 or 4 men jumped in to help, mixing Bengali and English. Finally, after what felt like forever, we figured it out. When I climbed onto the tuk-tuk, the whole crowd clapped for me. I waved back, blushing and saying, "Thank you, thank you." I often felt like there were 2 worlds in Bangladesh. On the street, people couldn't read the address that I gave. Meanwhile, my clients walked in wearing suits and ties, speaking fluent English. Very serious men. Yeah, serious. But seriously, if you looked down, almost all of them wear flip-flops. It was such a strange combination. A viral fashion trend of its own kind. Within 2 weeks, I followed this fashion. Honestly, Bangladesh is so hot in summer. Flip-flops just make way more sense than leather shoes or heels. I thought again about my law certificate. Maybe the world often looks serious on the outside, but if you take a closer look, it might just be pajamas or a pair of flip-flops. So why so serious? The world is just bluffing. Be brave and have fun. Years later, I saved enough money and I flew to France. On my first day, before even dropping my luggage, I went straight to see the Eiffel Tower. My first thought was, holy shit, I almost married a liar. The Eiffel Tower is so much beautiful than a power tower, I swear. He told me traveling was brainwashing, and I decided I will wash my brain more often to keep it clear. Since then, I've traveled by myself to almost 40 countries with just one backpack. I love taking photos in dresses, but I couldn't carry many, so I started swapping dresses with other girls that I met along the way. Here are what I got. Of course, traveling is just the fun part of my life. I also have the struggling part. I studied international marketing and business development. At business school, we heard this message again and again: do not chase money, create value. I often wished my professor could just tell me directly what value I could create, so I could do it, because the tuition was really expensive and I wanted to earn it back, get a return on investment. Or, as my professor likes to say, a good ROI. My professor answered, if you want a good ROI, you are chasing money. I interned at a French company. I made many wonderful friends there. I met people from different countries. Sometimes I taught them speak Mandarin. They loved learning. I enjoyed teaching. They're happy, I'm happy, everybody's happy. And I want to share that happiness. That's why I wanted to make a series called Dun 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 Dun, Used for Chinese for Total Beginners. In it, you will not just learn phrases, you will also learn about Chinese culture, which I believe is the soul of this language. My plan is to make 100 episodes. If you love Chinese language or Chinese culture, or me, I hope my videos can be valuable for you. Oh, wait, did I just use the word valuable? Maybe I'll finally find the value that I can create, but Professor, I still wonder, will I get a good ROI? FYI, I'm still single. Just in case you think I'm cute and you happen to be sporty and cute, then subscribe and leave a comment.